everyone, I'm Jessica,
Ronnie.
and we are going to be doing a spoiler alert today. So, if you have not seen the Avengers Infinity War movie, stop watching now. Because we are going to be talking about scenes from the movie, and especially the ending. So, if you have not seen the movie, I warn you now in advance, stop the movie and wait till you see it and come back because we will be given a lot of juicy details. So, with that being said, you've been warned. We're going to go ahead and start off with, I don't know what part. You want to talk about the beginning?
Well, the whole movie in general was amazing. I mean, Russo brothers, holy moly. They went from doing shows on Fox to doing mega blockbuster hits and started with Winter Soldier and this, wow. I mean, from beginning to end, the time that every character had, the story development, the just the way it was just an awesome movie.
So, since you brought it up, who was your favorite character?
See, this is a conflict that many people have. Uh, it's hard to say. I mean, I I think the one that stole the show on this one would have to be Spider-Man
I would agree.
because Tom Holland, holy moly, you know Tobey Maguire was okay. Um, I don't know his other name, Andrew Garfield, I think his name is. He was okay, but this kid, holy moly, he like knocked that out the park. He took what was supposed to be an adaptation from a teenage kid that becomes Spider-Man. He does it very well, and the way he acted, interacted with everybody, and the way he represented himself with the whole daddy figure.
Oh, but let's stop you there because you're heading towards the end, and we're barely at the beginning. So, the movie opens up. And the one scene that I say would probably be my favorite was the initial battle scene with oh
You mean in New
Doctor
York?
Strange. Yeah, Doctor Strange, and I can't remember the bad guy's name, unfortunately, but
It's
it's one of the henchmen.
yeah. There's two. The whole movie centers around Thanos. If you guys watch all the other 18 movies, you know that this has been leading up to this guy, his appearance, and this guy's supposed to be like up there in bad guy. You know, there's nobody out there that's more stronger. Everybody knows him. Everybody fears him. I think the only one that doesn't fear him is Gamora. And if you
Mm-hmm.
know the story, that's Thanos' favorite adopted daughter. Um, she has a sister. Um, God, what was her name?
I remember, but go back to Gamora being his adopted daughter.
Well,
If
he
you guys do not know the background behind them, um, Thanos' idea of fixing things, um, he showed up on her planet, destroyed about half of the planet's population, um, but in doing so, I believe her mother was part of that group that got killed. And he decided to take her under his wing for whatever reasons, and truly developed a love for Gamora. Now, Gamora was always my favorite character from Guardians of the Galaxy, so when I heard that Thanos, was her stepdad and that this love bonded them, it was definitely like, wait, what? You, but to me, I think that's a key point to remember,
it is because
especially going through when he needs certain stones.
and that part alone right there kind of showed another side of him because you initially think a bad guy is someone that just wants to get straight to the point. I'm a
Mhm.
bad guy. I want to kill everybody. This is a goal. and Thanos is a very strong goal person. He set his mind to this goal, and he's gonna accomplish it. And when for those of you who've seen it, or those of you who haven't seen it, there's a stone that's been missing, the Soul Stone,
The Soul Stone.
and nobody has known about it other than Gamora. And Thanos found out about it, so he takes her to that planet, and there you actually see an old villain from the first Captain America, Red Skull. It's not the same actor that played it, but the other dude that took the part was very good at it. And in order for him to receive the stone, you have to give a soul to get a soul. And and it's supposed to be someone that's very close to the heart. And at first, you were like, who, Thanos doesn't really know or loves anybody out there.
Nope.
But,
Not even his own daughter. That's actually blood, the one that he turns into, I guess, half robot. Because, I mean, if you really loved your own flesh and blood, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't be able to do that.
But when that happened, and Thanos was faced with a very hard choice. But in the movie, and this is going on to Phase 4, but it turns out that I didn't even know that Thanos was in the process of completing this mission before, but something happened to where he kind of said, okay, no, I'm not going to do this. And this stems from the whole, Captain Marvel, which you're going to see next phase, which is next summer, Avengers 4. Cannot wait for that one. And hopefully you get more of a backstory to it. But, he was given a choice, you have to give a soul, somebody you really love, and to get the Soul Stone. And it's either, you leave it or you take it. And that part alone showed another side of this man that we thought was just a straight villain, but he actually had
he had a soul. He had
a
love.
soul. And, it was, this movie had a lot of shots.
That part definitely made me cry. But then again, if you know me, I'm somewhat of an emotional person, but if you are an emotional person, you will want to bring some tissues, especially for a couple parts of this movie. That one being one of the most critical ones that I definitely cried over. There are a couple other ones, but like I said, we'll kind of jump ahead to closer to the end now. Where...
Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
But there's two parts. There's half of the Avengers are fighting in Wakanda, where Black Panthers is, because Vision has the last stone that Thanos leaves, it's the Mind Stone, and then the other half is on Titan, where Thanos' home planet. So, and that's where Doctor Strange has the Time Stone.
And on that one, it's Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Iron Man.
And all of the, minus Groot and Rocket, but every other Guardian is dead. And Thanos goes to that planet, and they start fighting, Fast forward to it, there's a part where Doctor Strange, she has the ability to go in time into the future and see every outcome. I think he goes through 21 million of...
It was a lot. It was millions of different
but he said
outcomes.
There's one where there's only one way that they could win this fight. And if you go back to the beginning of the movie, Strange tells Spider-Man and Iron Man, it says, if it comes down to me either giving the stone to him to save you and the boy's life, I will not do that. I will not do that. So what was it that he saw in the future that he has to give up the stone? So that's another, hint what's going on. So, fast forward, they're fighting. Iron Man gets a freaking planet thrown at him. And,
he does.
Drax, which is very, I like Drax, the Destroyer, played by Batista. Awesome character, but I kind of a little bit of a letdown because in the comic book they showed that he was, this super strong, he's one of very few in the comic books that actually defeats Thanos by himself. So, it's a little disappointing, but it makes up, he makes up that lack of strength with more comedy. You know, that Guardian of the Galaxy movies wouldn't be as great as it is without Drax. You know, that's a perfect role. But you know, they're fighting. You know, Spider-Man. For those of you who are familiar with it, he uses the what was it? The Scarlet suit, where you know those
Mm-hmm.
four arms comes out and you see
Mm-hmm.
it in action. Really awesome. But you know, they're fighting, and there's one point where it was down to Thanos and Iron Man, and then you know Thanos is about to kill Iron Man. You know,
Yeah.
he sticks something to his chest or something like that, and you know, Strange stops him. He says, wait, spare him, and I'll give you the stone."
Mm-hmm.
But remember, you know, he said there's nothing that will make me give up the stone. So
Mm-hmm.
he
If it
says,
came down to yours and the boy's life.
yeah. So you know, he tells them, you know, I will give you the stone if you spare his life. So there's two major things there. One, what was it that he saw in the future that made him change his mind? And two, is Iron Man the one who is going to destroy Thanos? Because in the comic books, Iron Man actually makes the Avenger Gauntlet. And it's another form of Thanos' glove that he invents and it's supposed to be even stronger to defeat him. Or two, he makes the I don't know what it's called, but it's like the God suit that Iron Man wears, and that's another thing that he could defeat Thanos. So there's a lot of hints, Easter eggs that you guys call them. But he turns out he gives them the stone, and you know, and then Thanos takes the stone, and then he leaves them there. You know, he goes to Wakanda. Everybody in Wakanda is fighting. You know, Thor, he uses the Stormbreaker. Best, awesome scene. And I think the funny part was when Hulk, you know, no, Bruce Banner is in the Iron Man Hulk, and there he goes, you know,
And
Thor
he's
comes out,
arguing with Hulk.
you know, yeah, and then you know, Thor comes out, and then you know, Bruce Banner, you know, the hatch opens and says, you're all screwed now because everybody knows Thor's here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this is the God of Thunder. You guys are all pretty much F.
Yeah.
You know, and so everybody starts fighting. You know, they're pushing back those crawler things. You know, the girls,
What was the girl's name? The one that shoots the red fire.
Scarlet Witch.
There we go. Sorry, I always forget her name.
Scarlet Witch, she was
So,
awesome.
Scarlet Witch and the man that possessed the final stone,
Vision.
um, Vision. I don't know if you guys know the background with them, but they are a couple, like die hard love. Now with the Wakanda scene, this is where it just gets so suspenseful, intense. Um, just you don't know what's gonna happen. At one point, Thanos is in the woods, and Scarlet Witch, as well as what's the guy's name?
Vision.
Vision, are also sitting there, and the only hope to save everybody is to destroy that final stone.
But
And
in order for her to do it, she has to kill Vision.
exactly. So in order for her to be able to destroy the stone, she also, in return, has to destroy the man that she loves. Again, warned you guys, I'm an emotional person, so I'm already getting a little choked up because that's something hard that I don't think anybody should have to go through, but it's a movie, right? So she destroys it. And you now think, that's it, it's done. They defeated him. You know, there's no way he can get another stone. That was it. Because that's exactly what I thought is that's it. The Avengers won. Just like every other movie, the Avengers won. You know, everything's going to go all back to normal, hunky-dory. Everyone's going to be happy. And then Thanos throws a curveball. He possesses the power of time.
Time travel.
And reverses time to before Scarlet Witch is able to destroy the stone And he gets the stone, guys. He gets the stone. And literally, at one point in this movie, he says, I could destroy half of the population with just a snap of my fingers. And let me tell you, he stayed true to that word. With the snap of his fingers, he destroys half of the world, basically.
But
But
prior to that, Thor, which we all thought was going to be the hero, which he does.
oh, and we forgot to tell them Loki dies.
Oh yeah, Loki dies. It wasn't that big of a
Heartache.
heartache. It was like, no way, you know. Oh well, we knew somebody was going to die in this movie. We just didn't know who. But there's a part where Thor is coming, you know, from flying and stuff, and he sees them, and he throws the axe at him, and it's going, and then Thanos just throws one of the beams at him, and we think it's gonna stop it, but no, it keeps going, and it goes in his heart. And you know, we're like, oh, everybody's like, oh yeah, he got him. You know, he falls down, and then he's like, you know, on his knees, and then Thor says something like, "I told you, you will die for this," and then he shoves the hammer more into his heart. You know, Thanos is like, oh, you know, in pain, and he mumbles something, and then Thor
And he mumbles to him,
he goes,
you should have aimed for my head.
And then you see him
Lift his hand and snap.
Holy
And
moly!
That
part right
snap was the climax of this movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they pan in through, you know, the warriors that were there at Wakanda, and half of them are disappearing. Literally.
Prior to that, you get taken into this like weird orange world where like the floor is like water, and it's Thanos is standing there, and then like this gazebo looking thing. There's Gamora in there, and she's a little girl.
A baby Gamora.
A baby Gamora, and you know, he walks up to her because he really loves that his daughter, and you know, he walks up to her and says, you know, she says, "Is it done?" And he's like, "Yes," and then she says, you know, "What did it take? You know, what did you have to sacrifice?" And he says, "Everything." And that right there, you know, you kind of like, what the heck does he mean? And then it pans out to
the Wakanda scene.
The Wakanda scene, and then go ahead. Sorry.
And you just start seeing like regular people from like the cities, literally just disappearing. I mean, turning into dust. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. It's just dust. And it starts panning out, and you see in Wakanda, it pans out to a point where the main, what was she? Like the sergeant or captain of the warriors, the female, is there, and Black Panther reaches for her and tells her, "This is nowhere to die," and he disappears.
That right there,
I mean,
like, holy moly.
My first initial thought was, whoa, he just got here. What happened?
Yeah. I was a shocker.
That made me start crying, obviously. And then you see, you know, who else dies on Wakanda? Falcon.
You know, Sam.
Was it Hawkeye?
Rhodey's looking for him, but he had disappeared. And he's like, "Where's
Bucky?"
You know, Bucky.
Bucky dies.
That was like the way it happened, because you know, Cap is looking around like, what happened? And, you know, you hear Bucky in the background, which is the Winter Soldier, the guy with the metal arm. He goes, "Steve," you know, all you hear is go, "Steve," and then he like kind of falls to the ground, and then he just disappears.
Yeah.
And then it's his Scarlet Witch. She disappears.
She disappears.
The one that I didn't know this personally. I just thought it was kind of sad, but Groot and Rocket. You know, if you don't know,
they are buds,
they're
man.
like buddies, like you know.
And for those of you that don't know, Groot that's in this video is not the same Groot as the one that had died previously. This is actually his son, like his offspring.
But in
Um,
this version, Groot
he's a
is a
little bit
teenager.
better. He's
He's a
bigger.
teenager.
He's a teenager.
He's a teenager, but he,
A
it pans out.
raging teenager.
It pans out to Groot, and then you hear him go,
He
I am
and
Groot,
Groot.
and then Rocket's
And
like,
Rocket's
no,
like, no,
no,
not
no,
you,
no,
Groot.
no,
And
no.
Groot disappears,
But
guys.
when he said, for those of you who don't know, the way Groot talks, he says, I am Groot, and the only one that understands him and the
Is Rocket
Guardians.
and
But
the Guardians.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I didn't know he said that. He said when he was disappearing, he says Dad,
Hmm.
before he disappears, and I was like, oh, dude, what the hell, and then it goes. I believe after that it goes
It's still there.
to Titan. We
Mhm.
see what goes on in Titan, and you have those heroes who disappeared, and
Mhm.
then Mantis, the lady with
The feelers.
she says, something bad has happened, and then she disappears, and then
Mhm.
Drax, he looks
Drax
at
disappears.
he looks at Star Lord and he goes, Quill, and then he disappears, and then Star Lord disappears. What the heck? And then not just when you think that was it, you look at Iron Man, and then
It
you
pans
hear
to Iron Man, and you hear Spider-Man say, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
That
Oh my God, you guys, let me tell you, this kid knows how to act. I mean, talk about showing pain. I mean, real pain.
fear,
I don't know.
scared.
Fear, no, but pain, fear. I mean, you could just see in this kid's face that he did not want to die. I mean, just that, like, oh my God, what is happening? And you're just thinking, no, not him, right? Not him. This can't be happening. And he disappears, guys.
So very sad.
He dies. That was probably the hardest moment, just because I'm telling you, the boy that plays Spider-Man in this did an amazing job. I mean, I felt it, like literally felt it, like choke you up. I was ugly girl crying, guys, ugly girl crying. Like, thank God I didn't have makeup on, because I would have left there with nothing. I would have been like naked eyes, and that's not very pretty. So, yeah, no. And towards the very end, the very end, right before, obviously the credits and the extras and things like that, um, you are back in a city. I think it was New York City, right? I'm pretty sure it was New York City.
This is Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Jackson.
Samuel Jackson plays Nick
For
Fury.
those who know him or don't, this is the guy that started it all. He was the one who talked to Tony Stark and said, "Come and join the Avengers." This is all his idea. This is all to him. That you want me to say it, or you want me to say it?
So they get out of the car because they see all these people just like freaking out, disappearing, things like that. And he turns to his partner, it's a female, and she disappears. And so he grabs his, I'm going to call it a pager. I don't know what it is. I'm going to assume it's a pager because he didn't use it like a phone. And he picks it up and he's doing something. He's dialing or hitting something. And the next thing you see is he starts disappearing. And he's like, oh, F-bomb? Right? Pretty sure he says F-bomb. Oh, F-bomb, or oh, poop, or something. This is YouTube, guys, so we gotta keep it kind of PG-13. And he disappears, and so the device falls to the floor. And when it falls to the floor, it has the little tiny screen, and you see Captain Marvel's symbol on there. And you're like, oh my God. And then it ends. That's how it ends. I mean, this movie was so good, guys. If I had to put it on a scale from 1 to 10 stars, I'd give it like a 15 star. Just because it kept me interested, it kept me intrigued. The acting was really good. This movie was probably by far one of my most favorite movies so far this year. Um, I don't know if you guys saw my other video, but we did go see the Deadpool movie, which will probably be our next video, um, as well as um, a couple other ones we're going to be doing pretty quick here, such as video games like Fortnite. That one's really popular, and we have a little bit of facts that we want to talk about it. So, yeah. So basically, that's the movie in a nutshell. Um, you know, like I said, it's an amazing movie. If you decided to watch this movie all the way through, even though you haven't seen it, I would still recommend going because you know what? Words cannot describe the impact and the emotion that you get with this movie and just how well produced it was, how well the actors and actresses performed in this movie. I mean, this movie was, like I said, I would give it like a 50 stars if I could. It was a really good movie. Just be prepared with some tissues, especially if you're emotional, because I know I cried. I know this guy almost cried. He won't admit it, but he almost did. Yeah, at least one. We'll say he at least shed one. But definitely one of my top 5 favorite movies so far. Um, so yeah, so I would still go see it. You got
Oh
anything to
yeah.
add?
No, but go watch it. Um, like I said, there's 18 movies in total.
That's a lot.
If you want to go get the whole story from the beginning to end, go do so. I have a collection of them. I'm like maybe four
A
movies.
collection's an understatement,
Four movies
guys.
to complete the whole Marvel Phase One. For those of you who know. But yeah, seriously, go watch that movie. I want to go see it again. And even though I know what happens, I will go. I would love to go see it again.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, guys. So on a different note, um, whenever we do reviews, it'll probably more than likely be me and him, maybe a couple other people if we have some. Um, Makeup tutorials is obviously just gonna be me because he doesn't want makeup. So yeah, so if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that notification button, and share with all your friends because, hey, we're having fun and we're doing it real. See you guys later. Bye.